my next question is, you have been quite involved, all of you, for maybe Ronald recently, but Emmanuel, Pedro, and Choco, on the remittance issue. As far as I remember, the three main issues that were presented were, one is the data collection, number two, the cutting the cost of transaction, and the third, leveraging remittances for development. In your assessment, in your own assessment, where do you think areas are moving or on the right track, and where are the areas in relation to these three issues that still need more attention, and whom do you think should address this issue to be able to achieve the goals? Who are the key players, you think?
Just to say a word before Manuel goes again, because he's the encyclopedia for this. But I think depends. The first question is, first answer is, it depends what region you're talking about. You know a lot about remittances flows, for instance, in Latin America. This is the continent actually where you can be pretty sure that what's published out there is pretty close to the reality. Other regions, Asia, for instance, you can be sure that it's not that accurate. Africa, the same thing. So if you compare these two continents in terms of flow on data, there's a gap. In terms of regulations, the same thing. There's been some back and forth with some regions, but depending on what region you're located, yes, we're talking about Nigeria. Well, I was saying at first, if I was something and I started saying money transfer company, then I prefer commercial banks, because actually, if you're a Nigerian one, if you happen to benefit from the exclusivity agreements, that means that there's very few banks that are entitled to actually process remittances. When you're talking about a country the size of Nigeria and the flows that go there, this is an issue. The regulations that apply in Europe are not the same that apply in the United States. So also from the sending side, you also have the same issues. So addressing a whole data set of issue, it's very important. I usually say that the most important thing is data than regulation to support that data. When it's important to know, to have the flows in order to captivate people's attention at least. Then the regulation aspect aside, the technology being the instrument here, and the financial intermediation. I think that these are the areas. But again, everything depends on the region. But if you ask me, over the last 10 years, I think a lot has been done. In conferences like this, in 2001, Manuel could say, actually Manuel would have to define remittances prior to each conference, saying what remittances are. Remittances are the money that migrants send back home to their families. That had to be said because half of the audience didn't know. So today, you can call your conference remittances, everybody knows. So yeah, there's been some progress, but in every issue related, and I think, as you said, there's preferred issues. The World Bank has their preferred issues, IFAD as well. We have our own mission statements. Everything is conditioned. I think I agree with the MDGs, what Manuel said about the difference about a goal and maybe an instrument to achieve these goals. Remittances, we all sort of looking at it, but there's several aspects that just remittances will not cover. But remittances can greatly help. For instance, land entitlements, things like that. I mean, show me the money, right? And the money is remittances, and that can help a lot. But again, I think as Manuel said, it's more an instrument than anything, so it shouldn't be item 9, I believe.
Yeah, but the thing is, as you said, it's preferred issues. So every sector take one issue or one opportunity on remittances, but it's not coherency. It does not really reach to the last mile. For instance, like on the third issue on leveraging remittances to development, there is still quite very little movement in there, and yet the mobile banking is moving, technology is getting fast, commercial bank is being involved. So do you think there is a need a little bit of fine-tuning all these areas, or sectors can act independently? I mean, looking forward to really making remittances work for poverty reduction and development, maybe. Or it does not
Well,
relate.
maybe from your question, I think Manuel should answer something. And I said, Manuel, what's the difference between now and 2001? And
Well,
try
I
to
think,
say it in
yeah.
2 sentences. He will not be able, but try.
In Spanish, 2 sentences. You know, if you read Garcia Marquez, that's a 300-page book. So, okay, let me hold my breath in my first sentence. If you're talking about developing institutions, you need to think, developing institutions, whether it's bilaterals or multilaterals, they think programmatically in 3 categories: knowledge and outreach, operational activities, and third is enabling environments. Knowledge and outreach is issues like those that Pedro was talking about, helping to measure, detect data, collect information, etc. If we were to give a scorecard to the multilaterals from the World Bank, the IDB, the Asian Development Bank, etc., then you will see that there is being a significant improvement. There is no question about 2001. Yes, you had to define remittances, you had to fight with people to explain what that meant. I mean, even today we're still fighting. There is this global index of philanthropy. Just Google the word global index of philanthropy, and they unashamedly insert remittances as philanthropy. With all due respect, I give them the 2 words that you say when you're driving to a bad driver. At operational level, I think the scorecard is very poor. I don't give more than a 3 to any multilateral or bilateral institution. There is very little investment, there is very little commitment to leverage remittances for development. And whoever tells me that's not the case, let's have a fair talk about it, because it's nonsense. There is no investment. There is a lot of investment in research, but there is very little commitment taking the risk and operationalizing projects. The most that has been done has been by the IDB and a little bit by IFAD and a few things by DFID, but that's mostly it. And that's fundamentally problematic, given the fact and the reality that there is evidence suggesting that remittances have an impact on development. There is.
So what's the reason why is there that reticence that you're describing? I mean, you're saying.
I think there are a couple of reasons. One is that people working, development practitioners, don't care, because they are focused in their macroeconomic policy development or in the health context, and they really don't pay attention to the reality of migration as part of the equation of development, both causes of poverty and causes to mitigate poverty. There is another reason, and it's that development practitioners are individuals too, and they have opinions, and they believe that people are just spending their money, so let them spend it, period. I don't want to do anything about it. And then there is the third development practitioner that is afraid to take the risks because it's afraid that their budget will be diminished for political reasons. And so they don't want to. I don't want to go to testify to Congress because they're going to tell me that that's bad because I'm working with migrants. And in the United States, 40% of migrants are illegal. And if I'm investing in that in development for remittances, then I'm investing in illegal criminals. So there are at least 2 reasons, and there is a 4th one: ignorance. And I think that's the strongest one. There is, ignorance is encyclopedic when it comes to this issue of remittances. And it's just amazing to see how little people know and how much you want to resist to know. It's fascinating.